we're sending Kona rescue Beastie to space, and also there's a massive 820 turtle there for some reason. I don't know, space is kinda weird. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Much Abrew About Nothing, and we have a sweet one this week. We are heading to our new Edge of Eternities standard format to play some planetary Kona combo, and this is a deck that can do some ridiculous things. So let's talk about the deck, what it's trying to do, jump into some games, see the deck in action. So we are built around a card that has actually been in standard ever since Duskmorn, but hasn't really taken off in Kona Rescue Beastie. So Kona, a 4-mana 4/3 with survival. So if it's tapped at the beginning of our second main phase, we get to put a permanent card, any permanent card, into play from our hand. So Kona is, without a doubt, a super busted creature. I mean, just putting any permanent into play from your hand is a really strong ability, but Kona has a problem, which is it's not that easy to get it tapped going into our second main phase. It's only a 4/3, so if we try to attack with it, it's probably going to die. But in Edge of Eternities, we got the perfect cards to make Kona good in the Mythic Planet lands. So in our deck, we have Shishir Shakundi and Avanda Waking Haven. These are lands, they have the station mechanic, so they just let us tap Kona to put counters on them, which makes Kona so much better. If we can play a planet land on turn 1 or 2 or 3, we can just play Kona on turn 4, immediately tap it, go to our second main phase, and dump something massive into play. And that's when things get really wild, because our deck has a bunch of super big bombs to cheat into play. And these cards are pretty interesting. So on level 1, we can just put an Ancient Adamantios, or a Vaultborn Tyrant, or a Galta Stampede Tyrant to dump the rest of our hand, or a Summon Bahamut, or a Velgavoth into play with Kona, and trust that these massive creatures might be enough to just win us the game on our own. But it gets even better than that, because the actual plan of this deck is we have Shishir Shakundi, we can tap Kona to put 4 charge counters on it, and then our best thing to cheat into play is oddly Ancient Adamantios, but it works with pretty much all of our creatures. But Ancient Adamantios, it's an 8/20 with Vigilance and Ward 3. Damage isn't removed from it during the cleanup step. All damage that's out to us and our other creatures go to it instead. When it dies, it goes to exile. We get 10 tap treasure tokens. So we can't just play this like a fog to stay alive against landfall or whatever. But the actual trick here is we tap Kona to Shishir Shakundi to be able to station it, to get 4 counters on it. We go to our second main phase. We use Kona's ability to dump Ancient Adamantios into play. It has 8 power, which is exactly enough to tap it to Shishir Shakundi to fully station it. And then we can sack the turtles to Shishir Shakundi to draw 8 cards, make 10 tap treasure tokens, and just keep going. Now we can hardcast our stuff. It gets way out of hand. If we sack a Vaultborn Tyrant, we get a token copy, we gain a bunch of life, we draw a ton of cards. Galta draws us 12 cards, Summon Bahamut 9 cards, Velgavoth draws us 9 cards. So that's the actual plan of the deck. Use Kona to cheat big things into play, and if that's not enough to win the game, we just sack the big things to draw a ridiculous amount of cards and put even more big things into play, which will eventually win us the game. One note here, the green planet land is basically just in the deck to tap Kona. We don't really care about fully stationing it up. So if you got both on the battlefield, always station up the black one first, because the card draw is actually really important to the deck. The extra mana from Avanda, like every once in a while it matters, but it's not actually super important. So that's the main plan of the deck, but we only have one Kona in the deck, so we need a backup plan too, and our backup plan is just to reanimate our big threats. So we have Town Greeter, Dredger's Insight to fill our graveyard, Seed Ship Brute Tender fills our graveyard and can reanimate something, Zombify reanimate something, Smuggler's Surprise can fill our graveyard, can put big things into play from our hand, Bitter Triumph, our removal lets us discard cards, so if we have like a massive Adamantios or whatever in hand, we can discard it to Bitter Triumph, reanimate it with Zombify or whatever. So that's the basic plan of the deck. As far as the mana base, there is one issue with the deck, which is we have a ton of tapped lands. Because we need to play all these planets to turn Kona on, and they come into play tapped, and because the mana base in Golgari is a little sketchy because we don't have a shock land yet, we do have a lot of lands that come into play tapped. So if you play this deck, turn 4 is the big turn. You really want to try to have an untapped land on turn 4. So try to sequence your lands in a way that you have the untapped land, because that's the turn that you can play Kona and tap it to a planet land and do the big thing, or cast Zombify to reanimate something and get something huge into play. So that's the mana base. As far as the sideboard, the theory of this deck is we have Smuggler's Surprise in our sideboard. So what we can do is In the main deck, we look kind of like a graveyard deck because of the reanimation stuff, so our opponents will probably bring in a bunch of graveyard hate. If our opponents bring in a bunch of graveyard hate, what we can do is bring in more Smuggler Surprises and actually start cutting our graveyard and reanimation stuff and just go all in on cheating things into play from our hand with Smuggler Surprise and with Kona. We can also just fight through the graveyard hate with like Assassin's Trophy, Heritage Reclamation, Maelstrom Pulse. For control, we get Duresses, a bunch of removal and sweepers for aggro, some Ghost Vacuums for opposing graveyard decks, and that is Planetary Kona combo. And that's our deck for today, and this deck is super sweet. So let's jump into the game so you can see the deck in action. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Want to help out the channel? Well, you can snag these super sweet new dice, playmats, tokens, and more over at mtggoldfishmerch.com. Much Abrew About Nothing time. We have a super sweet one this week. This is a deck I've been working on, which is Kona Planet combo, and we're gonna keep this. It looks it looks super sketchy, but we are a reanimation Speller of Kona away from this hand being incredibly good. So a bit speculative, but the main idea of this deck: planet lands to station Kona to get it tapped, to put things like Ancient Animatios into play, which then fully stations a land and then lets us sack to draw a ton of cards and keep the fun going. The deck, I think that maybe the planets might actually make Kona into a real thing, but we'll see. We'll see if this plan actually works once our opponent arrives. I also think this is the best Shukundi. My god, I cannot say that Black Planet land. The Black Planet land. It might be the best Black Planet land deck. At least it's the best one that I've built. Opponent. Starting town. Sure. And, oh, all right. So probably the Prowess deck. Storm Chaser's talent. Well, we will play a tap land and, oh, yeah. One thing I'll say about this deck: there are a lot of tap lands in the mana base because we need 8 planets, right? So we're playing 8 planets for our Kona combo purposes. Plus we need some dual lands. So there's a lot of tap lands, which means untapped lands have a lot of value. We really like an untapped land on turn 4 because that's the turn when we can play Kona. So there is a lot of value to having an untapped land, but here we need some sort of payoff, right? We need some sort of Kona or reanimation would be good. Zombify would be good because we can discard Galta to Bitter Triumph. All right, it's increasing. Astrologian's Planisphere. I figured that card was going to be good, and now it seems like post-rotation, it is finally time. No Swift Spear anymore, so, well, at least Brood Tender is castable. That is reanimation, sort of, in a couple of turns. Mill some cards, play a planet, and pass turn. We're not going to station here. We're going to play defense. The way this deck works, there's usually not a ton of value to like stationing for 2, because the way the math works, Kona plus one of our big things usually just fully stations the planet lands anyway. So in the early game, a lot of times, well, all right, we're going to lose our blocker anyway. At least our opponent had to sack Storm Chaser's talent. Well, there goes the Insect. Opponent gets some Prowess triggers. This one might hurt a bit. Oh, if we draw Kona, though. Opponent hits us down to 11. Restless Cottage. All right, well, I mean, pass the turn, I guess. Eventually, we just play lands and cast an Ancient Adamantios if we don't... or, I guess, Galta into Ancient Adamantios if we don't draw anything. Oh, another Planisphere. Okay. We're still, like, we're a draw away. We're the right draw away from just, like, going from way behind to way ahead. Opponent building a board, growing their dorks. Oh god, wild ride. All right, well, we're probably gonna have to spend some removal here. Opponent goes attacking. Oh, Bitter Triumph. Let's discard the Galta, kill the biggest token. Oh, do we just, I don't want to discard. We want to hold something in hand in case we draw Kona. I guess we can discard the tap land. Yeah, I mean, now we have a big thing in the graveyard, a big thing in hand. So either reanimation or Kona is still live. Opponent hits us to 8. All right, Dredger's Insight. I mean, better than nothing. Do a little milling, and okay, there's Kona. We can't play it this turn. But, I mean, we go up to 9, we get the Kona. Sadly, now our opponent knows what's happening. So they might be able to put 2 and 2 together, that Kona is actually insanely busted with planet lands. The thing, so we could do this before with Kona, right? With like a vehicle. The problem is then it is kind of like a 3-card combo because you have to like draw and spend mana on a vehicle. The planet lands just make it so much cleaner because we're not using non-land card slots. Bound at Crash Through grows the dorks. I mean, this is fine though, because once the Ancient Animasios, oh goodness, and also a Vaultborn Tyrant, but once we get the Ancient Animasios, we should be good. So, all right, get down Kona, Shishir Shukundi, whose name I still don't think I say right, station it up, post-combat. Can we get away with playing Vaultborn here? Are we risking death if we play Vaultborn? Vaultborn gives us more card draw, but yeah, we're gonna play it safe. Get down the turtle. We're also not going to station this turn. We can station next turn, but we're going to leave it as a blocker this turn. Even though we can't die, being able to get something off the battlefield is nice. Ooh, Vivi. Okay, well, I'm glad we got down the turtle. Opponent passes. I think we will station the Kona. Station the Animantios. We're not even going to attack this turn. We're just going to go post-combat. Oh, this is going to be so good. So watch the fun. Now we have a fully stationed Black Planet land. Vaultborn Tyrant comes into play for free. We get to draw a card. Now I think we will spend 2 life. Sacking Adamantios is good. In this case, though, I think sacking Vaultborn's even better. So we sack Vaultborn. We will draw 6 cards. We get the token. We draw another card. We gain some life. And at this point, it should be hard for our opponent to kill us. Like, even if they pop off with Vivi, they have to deal 20 damage to Ancient Animatios before any of it hits our face. Well, I mean, I guess we'll take the summon Bahamut and play another planet land. And yeah, I mean, that's what the deck's trying to do. We'll discard one of these town greeters. I mean, that's the plan. We can do it faster than that, but that is essentially the main combo of the deck. Opponent, Sleight of Hand, gonna trigger the Vivi. I mean, opponent's gonna have a good turn. They're gonna have a very good turn. The problem our opponent's gonna have is, how do they deal with the turtle? They have to have such a good turn that they can deal with the turtle, pay 3 for the ward, and then still kill us. All right, not gonna happen. Stock up, opponent gonna draw some cards. And if we live here, I mean, we get a free summon Bahamut next turn, which is kind of insane. The other trick of the deck is sacking the Ancient Adamantios to make the treasures, and then just hard cast big stuff about it. Gonna cast another stock up, gonna trigger Vivi, gonna burn the turtle. Oh, I love this deck. About it. What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with your little Vivi over there? Ancient Animasios is such a sweet card. I love Ancient Animasios. About it passes. And scoops it up. And that is Kona and the Planets. That is the plan. Well, let's bring in a bit of removal. So one of the things about this deck when it comes to sideboarding is, so the way it's built is, in the main deck we have the Zombifies, we got the reanimation creatures, a lot of graveyard stuff. One of the things that we can do is, if we're expecting our opponent to bring in a bunch of graveyard hate, we can go down our reanimation package, at least a chunk of it, bring in more Smuggler Surprises, and do the whole thing with just Kona and Smuggler Surprise and get rid of the graveyard. So I think we're going to trim a little bit of graveyard stuff to bring in a little bit more removal. Stuff that can get Vivi, stuff that can get Planisphere. So the reanimation plan is going to be a little bit less likely, but I think the resilience makes it worth it. Right, like that? All right, on to game number 2. We are going to be on the draw for this one. Sand looks actually kind of insane, assuming this town greeter does not betray us, which you never know with Satyr Wayfinder has a mind of its own. You never know with Satyr Wayfinder. Sometimes Satyr Wayfinder gives, and sometimes it's a 2-mana 1/1 that mills 4 cards. Gonna do a little surveilling. All right, not a land. Well, town greeter. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. We'll take any. Okay, we got a swamp. That's fine. Ooh, so actually, yeah, I guess we might as well station here. There's no one to attack us, so we might as well. Don't it? A Vivi. We'd love to draw a tap land. Oh my god. Okay, well that's the dream. Like I said in game 1, one of the challenges of this deck is it has so many tap lands. If you decide to play this deck, we're just going to take 3 to kill the Vivi. If you decide to play this deck, really try to keep an untapped land for turn 4 if you can, because that is Zombify and Kona turn. That's like our big turn, and having to play a tap land on 4 and then wait an extra turn to do our big thing is actually really painful. This turn, though, if our opponent does not have something here, like a way to kill this Kona, this turn's going to be absolutely obscene. Yeah, I mean, we got 2 Konas. If you can answer, you can answer it. If you do, we'll try again next turn. All right, Disdainful Stroke, sure. Sure. Well done, opponent. You're not dead yet. Well, you know what? Because of that, we're going to station for 1. Hard to play around the second Kona. You play around the first one. Yeah, opponent, Steaming Sauna. Well, okay, opponent. I have some bad news. Kona, part 2. Station up that Shundi. And, yeah, we'll play the land. We will mill a forest. Not going to need that. Go to combat. Start beating down. And now we do the fun thing. Galta off the Kona for free. Galta will put Summon Bahamut, Vault Tyrant, Siege Abrew Tender into play. Blow up your sauna. And, all right, not a bad turn 5. Not bad. I wonder how Blake's doing, actually. You never know with weekly MTG. One of my favorite parts of the weekly MTG stream is our Blake tier list to see just how stressed and frazzled Blake looks on any given stream. Some of them you get the A+, S tier Blake where everything's like smooth, and then sometimes you get like the arena economy stream. Opponent, Forest, Llanowar Elves. Settle down there, opponent. Let's play the Mortuary. So another thing about the Planet Land, the green Planet Land kind of sucks in our deck. I mean, every once in a while we turn it on. The black Planet Land is absurd. That is our key piece. The green Planet Land is basically just for additional ways to tap Kona in our mana base, but we don't really care that much about turning it on. There's rare occasions where we like build a big board, turn it on, and it helps us ramp into our big stuff a little bit. But in general, if you have to choose, always station the black one first, and then the green one, if you get a chance to station it, why not? But it's not especially essential. Getting the black one fully stationed up though is essential. Landfall, eh? I don't know how landfall goes. I'm glad that we have a couple of removal spells in hand, so we probably don't just get one shot by, wow, double Adamantios. We probably don't just get one shot by a Kona. We're going to pitch one of the Adamantioses. So now we have one in the graveyard, one in hand. So we're set up again for Kona or Reanimation, depending on what we can find. Unfortunately, we got all the tap lands at the moment. Landfall's scary just because it's so fast. Mossborn Hydra. And opponent gonna grow it. But thankfully, we can kill our first 2 big threats this game, which is gonna help. Also, Adamantios seems good against them if we can get it down. Oh, there's the Kona. Okay, well. That means we are an untapped land away from doing the thing next turn. Or I'm gonna Adamantios. Not quite as explosive as the Galta game, but still. Mossborn down. Do you have another landfall threat? It's interesting to see. All right, Bristly Bill. That is a landfall threat, although not super threatening on its own. It's good. It is good. Very good if you get a Tifa going or a Mossborn. Interesting to see that the landfall decks. Oh, come on, untap land. All right, that's fine. Kona for next turn. We will just pass. We might actually, we might Smuggler's Surprise. I don't know if we Smuggler's Surprise just to hit more land drops. That's one of the things about Smuggler's Surprise is it's a nice backup plan to put things into play, but it's also fine for just like 3 mana mill 4, get a couple things in your hand, like the bad Graveyard Divination. But the landfall deck, it's interesting to see how it's developed from being like a very linear all-in mono green deck to now the most popular build is like Teamer with World Soul's Rage to try to like get a bunch of fetch lands at once as like a combo plan. So it's interesting to see how the deck is in just like a couple of months really evolved. All right, opponent, another Mossborn. This one's gonna get pretty big pretty fast. So all right, Turtles versus Hydras. The good news is since I only have green mana up, I think this Kona is gonna work. And we are going to Smuggler's Surprise here for value. We're gonna have Kona to put things into play, so we might as well. Fine with hitting a land or two. Well, definitely taking Restless Cottage. Do we want Kona 3 or land 6? Yeah, let's just take the 2 lands. I feel like Landfall doesn't have that much removal. Well, there's on-tap land. All right, here we go. Kona. This is going to be a very interesting game. Well, station it with Shukundi, the Void Altar. Play the land, post-combat. Please tell me you don't have some random instant speed fight spell. All right. Ancient Adamantios into play. And now we got the turtle protection. Tap it down. You can hit his opponent. That is fine. We will take the beats. So our opponent needs to get at least 20 damage to kill the turtle here. So we can't, unless they somehow kill the turtle, which I don't think they can. But unless they somehow kill the turtle, we can't die this turn. And then our job is going to be, I guess, to keep finding turtles until we find some flyers, like Summon Bahamut or Velgavoth to win with. Is it going to be, because this Hydra is going to get, oh my god. All right, yep, World's Souls Rage. Gonna take down the Kona, thankfully I have a backup. Opponent, yeah, this Hydra is going to get ridiculously big. Very, very, this is actually kind of sketchy. Thankfully we have the Black Planet land, and we're gonna get 10 treasures. Yeah, that is a 56. Yeah, turtle down. We get 10 treasures. Oh, they didn't even kill the Kona, that's funny. Well, I mean, I guess we have to just sack the Kona to draw. Unfortunately, just to draw 4, but we have to find another Ancient Adamantios, or I guess a removal spell. But we got to find something here. They actually just get us with this Hydra. All right, you did your job, Kona. Plus, we got another draw 4 Galta and a Zombify. Well, let's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't think we're going to use the creature lands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, yeah, 1, 2. Let's use the treasure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play the Kona. And then Zombify. Get back the Adamantios from the graveyard. So we're good for another turn. We're good for another turn. The problem is that the Adamantios do exile themselves. I guess I should have played the other planet land and station that. It doesn't really matter too much. Post combat, Galta. Actually, you know what? Maybe we hold on to the Galta. Yeah, we'll put the Galta into play. The problem is the Hydra is so big, Galta can't really attack, but we can sack it to draw 12 next turn, which is kind of... The Town Greeter just whiff again. My god. My god. Well, let's... Are we gonna... Yeah, whatever. Sure. I mean, okay, so here's where we're at. The Hydra is so big, it's going to kill the turtle anyway. So the Hydra kills the turtle. Another one. Our hope was that if our opponent attacks too aggressively, we can, like, start beating them down with the Galta. Worst case, we sack Galta, draw 12, and try to find another Ancient Adamantios. I mean, this Hydra is going to be a one-shot kill forever. It is going to be... I mean, it's already 300 or over 100, right? It's easily going to be thousands of power as this game goes along. It could probably be thousands of power right now if they just crack their fetches. Opponent, Bristly Bill. I mean, sure, whatever. The more you attack with, the better for us. That's less blockers. Yeah, gonna hit us for 115. Thankfully, Ancient Adamantios gonna eat that. Make 10 more treasures. All right, we have 2 more left. Yeah, we gotta find our big flyers. Underground Mortuary, that's not doing much. We can't even attack with the Galta because they can just crack their fetches and make the Mossborn huge. So, in that case, sack Galta, pay 2, draw 12. Shakur Shishunti is actually insane. It's so good. Okay, there's a Velgavoth. See, the problem is Velgavoth is not enough. We have to have an Ancient Adamantios this turn, or we die to the Hydras. Or removal. So we can get the Galta, though, and put a ton of stuff into play, which is going to draw us a ton of cards. So Galta returns. What a wild game. So we get to put Vaultborn Tyrant, Velgavoth. I don't think we want to put the random mill creatures into play. I'm afraid we only have 21 cards. I'm a little afraid of milling out. So we're not just going to dump all the Town Greeters into play. Let's just put the two big ones into play. Velgavoth, Vaultborn. Draw 2, gain 6. We still have to find Adamantios, though. This is not enough. Another Vaultborn. And we have to have the mana to... Well, I guess Kona can put it into play. Well, I don't like milling here because we only have 19 cards left in our deck, but we have to find an Ancient Adamantios. Dredger's Insight. Summon Bahamut would be good, but I'm not sure it's actually enough now that there's 2 Hydras. Like, even if we kill the big Hydra, okay, that's a stone whiff. Grab a swamp. Well, Dredger's Insight. Part 2. Oh, no. We gotta find it. There's no way. We get to see almost our deck here. There's no way we don't find it, right? 1, 2, 3. Okay, Vaultborn. That gains a little life, but does not stop a massive Hydra. Oh, no. No, deck. I mean, we're still okay. We still got another Dredger's Insight. Not done yet. We really need to hit one this time, though, or else we might actually just fizzle. Also, now our deck's so low, we can't really draw with our Black Planet land anymore. Come on, turtle. Come on, turtle. Come on, turtle. Boy, the last card. Okay. Oh, well, once again, we survived the turn. Thanks to turtle power. Oh, okay. Well, you might as well station the Kona. Well, I mean, I know what we're putting into play. That is going to be Ancient Adamantios Part 3. And Drawk. Oh, This Vaultborn Tyrant might be becoming an issue. Now I'm worried about milling out. We have like double. Okay, well, there's the last one. We have one more turtle for next turn. So we have 2 more turns of fogging our opponent's attacks. Can we win the game without milling ourselves out in those 2 turns? The landfall deck does not seem like it can easily beat an Ancient Adamantios because our opponent's stuff is ridiculously huge. Are we gonna beat like a 1,000 power Mossborn Hydra that we cannot kill? We might actually beat 1,000 power Mossborn that we just do not have the ability to kill at the moment. Found it, cracking more fetches, growing their Hydras. It's so good. They can also double the counters. Like they can make these Hydras as big as they want to make them. There is no doubt that these Hydras are uber lethal, but the turtle don't care. Ancient Adamantios keeping us in this game. Yes. All right, sure. Keep 438 counters. My God. Well, as good as Vaultborn Tyrant is, we cannot afford to play it and draw more cards here. We also cannot afford to play our mill stuff. We actually just really can't play much of anything anymore without milling ourselves out. We have to discard 7. I mean, I guess we'll hold on to a Vaultborn just in case, like, the first one dies. Maybe there's a world we can play it. Opponent. Gonna grow the dorks. I mean, yeah. Okay, over 1,000 on the big Hydra. And double the counters. Sure. 1,792 counters on the big Hydra. I don't want to get too cocky because I'm still not sure we win this game. Like, it's still... Hopefully the Velgavoth gets us there, but it needs 3 turns of attacking. So we hit for 9. We play the 4th Adamantios next turn. We hit for 9. So we need to get in damage with something outside of the Velgavoth. We do have the one Summon Bahamut somewhere. Wow, are they not attacking? Oh. I mean, this is essentially a turn where we don't have to spend an Ancient Adamantios because they didn't attack. I think they had to attack with the big Hydra. Maybe, do they just die in the backswing if they do? Maybe I guess that's the concern, is they just get killed. Well, we get to gain 9, which life gain is not relevant in the face of those Hydras, but more importantly, our opponent goes to 11. So we're making some progress on killing our opponent down to 11. And yeah, I mean, turtle number 4, Ancient Adamantios. So now we have 2 turns of fogging. I think. Oh, and there's a Summon Bahamut too. Wow, we're going to win this. I think we're going to win this with basically no library in the face of the biggest Mossborn Hydra I've ever seen. Oh, beautiful. Opponent, go with the Hydras, sure. Certainly. The counters are getting out of control. Yes, about it. Double them up. At this point, I don't know if our opponent knows that they can't win, and they're just like, well, I might as well see. I mean, that's a 7,000 power Hydra going up to 14,000 power. Oh, gonna grow the Bristly bill this time, eh? All right, yeah, 14,000. And then the next fetch land will be, what, 28, almost 30,000? You know what our opponent needs is First Strike. First Strike is actually good. Opponent's going to attack with the smaller of the Hydras, which is still enough to kill an Ancient Adamantios. So it's only 584 power. All right, turtle down. We get 10 more treasures. I think we might be able to win this turn, though. We only have 4 cards in our deck, but we can still play the Summon Bahamut. Just blow up a blocker and swing for lethal. I guess Actually, we don't even need that, do we? We can just fire up the Restless Cottage. Opponent only has 3 blockers. Valgavoth gets in for sure. Block, block, block. Yeah, I think we got it. Fire up the Restless Cottages. We will not even bother. Not even bother to play the Summon Bahamut. And Restless Cottage number 2. And opponent managed to build a 14,000 power Hydra, but we got all of our ancient Animantioses, and good enough. Well, this matchup, bring in the removal package. It's probably the typical go down some of the graveyard fillers, go down a bit of reanimation. My assumption is pretty much every deck is going to have some form of graveyard hate, so the most common way to sideboard, at least for me with this deck, is cut like the Town Greeters, maybe some Dredger's Insights, maybe a Zombify, bring in the removal, and if necessary, bring in more Smuggler's Surprises. This matchup, they're not very removal heavy, so the Kona plan should be relatively effective. They might have more removal after sideboard, now that they know that Kona is like a must kill, but yeah, trim a couple Dredger's Insights, right like that. I still think Landfall could just run us over. That is a risk. Like, it is definitely possible that Landfall just gets a fast draw and we don't hit removal. Thankfully, this hand, not very close to putting something big. Well, okay, a little closer now with the Zombify, but not very close to putting anything big into play. But we do have a bunch of ways to kill things, which I like. A Bristly Bill. Ooh, even more ways to kill things. Well, let's start by shooting old Sheriff Bristly Bill over there. But not the deputy. Opponent, land. Traveling Chocobo. Ooh, land is actually an excellent draw here. I want a Smuggler's Surprise to hit lands. Actually, I guess I can do this at instant speed. Yeah, let's just pass. Traveling Chocobo is good, but without a landfall creature on the battlefield, it's not super scary. So if they play like a landfall thing, then we might have to kill it. But until then, I think we can get away with Smugglers Surprising. See if we can dig for planet. We don't have a planet land yet. Double Chocobo. Gonna get in and hit us down to 17. Well, let's do a little milling. So planet lands and Konas. Plus, I guess just milling big things is good. I guess even an untapped land's not the worst if we mill something big because we have Zombify. Well, that's Smuggler's Surprise. All right, well, I mean, we got 2 options. No planet land, sadly, but we did find a Kona. Oh, and there's the untapped land, but we don't have anything big to put into play. So I guess we can use Bitter Triumph at some point to discard, like, Vaultborn Tyrant. I think we're just going to run out the Kona, though, because I'm not convinced they can kill it. Oh, God, please don't have a land. Please don't have a land. Aye! Mossborn Hydra, going to triple trigger. I mean, we do have removal, so we're not just dead. The problem is, without having a planet land, we can't realistically attack with the Kona. There's the Animantios. Well, we gotta hope they don't have a protection spell. If our opponent can fizzle this, we might just die if they draw a land. Yeah, let's kill the Hydra. Assassin's Trophy. Get rid of the Chocobo. We're giving our opponent a land, which isn't great, but this does let us get in with the Kona, which is the main plan here. Hopefully our opponent cannot interact with this. We did give them red mana. All right, hit ya. Is it gonna work? Post-combat. Okay, we made it. And I think we're safe enough to put the Vaultborn into play this turn and draw a card. Ooh, okay, that is exactly what we wanted. We'll wait till next turn for the Shukundi. We'll keep the Vaultborn on top, pass the turn. We might be good, because the Ancient Animasios is coming now. Our opponent has to kill the Kona, and even if they kill the Kona, we just zombify the Kona, so... All right, Dragonback Assault. That does kill the Kona. Also the Chocobo. Well, bad news for our opponent is our deck is kind of synergistic. And we can just Zombify, get back Kona, draw a card with the Vaultborn Tyrant, play the Shukundi, do a little stationing of the Kona. And, I mean, we're going to be down with the Vaultborn Tyrant. Hit you down to 10. And Kona says, it's turtle time. Ancient Animantios, draw a card. And, yeah, I mean, we might as well station it up. All right, we are fully stationed. All it takes is a Kona and an Animantios, and the spaceship's online, opponent. Tifa Lockhart. Scary card if we didn't have Ancient Animantios. Opponent gonna make a dragon off the fetch land, pump the Tifa. Facet. How do we do this? Well, let's station the Kona. We know we want to do that, so we can put the Vaultborn into play. Let's go to combat. So what we can do is we can put the Vaultborn into play and then sack a Vaultborn to draw a bunch with the Black Planet land. Well, we're going to double chump. Chumping the Trampler doesn't do much. If you're going to block with Tifa, you probably want to block the Turtle. All right, opponent. Drops to 4. You're going to put another Vaultborn into play. Draw 2 more cards. Do we even need to? Yeah, we don't have anything good in the graveyard, right? Double Siege of Abrew Tender. Well, I mean, I can't pass up the value. I can't pass it up. Sack the tap Vaultborn Tyrant. We're going to discard so much in hand size, but pay 2. Draw 6 plus 2 from the vault boards. And I mean, I guess we can just 0-point ballad to kill the Tifa, just to make doubly, triply extra sure our opponent can't do anything. And then I think this should do it. If our opponent's plan is to stay alive with dragon tokens, 0-point ballad, it's been a solid sideboard card. It is. It is actually a solid sideboard card. I still don't really like it as a main deck card. Like, it's, I view it kind of like the black, like, split up or temporary lockdown. Maybe split up's not the best comparison. I view it as a sideboard card for aggro in specific. Like, you don't want to be using this to try to wrath away everything, because like against our deck, it's just, all right, opponent, all right, has a counter, repulsive maneuvers. That gives our opponent, well, not really. I guess it gives them some chance, although in reality, you know what, opponent? We're gonna, actually, should we stay on defense? Yeah, well, we don't need another, we're not gonna draw again with the Black Planet land anyway. And if we do, we already got one stationed. Yeah, we'll discard a bunch of tap lands. Discard a Brood Tender. I mean, our opponent's just in such a tough spot, right? Because, yeah, even if they pop off with Tifa and make it huge, like we saw last game with the Mossborn Hydras, if we have Ancient Adamantios, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have to kill us multiple times, don't it? Makes the dragon token. And, all right, there's a fetch. Triggers, dragons, Tifa, growing. Opponent gonna crack the fetch. So Tifa's up to 24 power, which I guess we're up to 30 life, so it wouldn't even be lethal without the turtle, but I guess it's enough to kill the turtle, but then we just block if we want to. Yeah, I don't know what our opponent does here. I think the answer is lose. Wow, they're gonna get in. All right, sure. We'll just take it. You can kill the turtle. We'll take our treasures. One of the nice things, too, about the turtle dying is the 10 treasures means we always have the mana to play another one, but this time we don't need it, because we're just going to Maelstrom Bolts the dragons, and here comes the dorks, and what a match. What a match! That game one with the huge moss board, so good. Well, that's Kona power. Planetary Kona, pretty good. And this hand, graveyard hand. This is a reanimator hand. Opponent nest. Oh boy. Sephiroth. Looks like probably Orzhov Aristocrats if you're playing nesting bot. Opponent, land, and all right, Umbro Collar Zealot. So definitely an Orzhov Sephiroth style deck. Well, let's see how this goes. There's an Adamantios. The funny thing is, so we've seen Ancient Adamantios be absurdly good. I'm not sure Sephiroth is its matchup, though, because as good as Ancient Adamantios is, it only protects us from damage. It only protects us from damage, which means Sephiroth's triggers can still kill us, even through the Ancient Adamantios. Opponent. Eaten alive to get rid of the Brood Tender. Sure. Well, there's more where that came from. Maybe we just pass this turn and play a land and pass? And then we can either kill the sack outlet or kill a Sephiroth if they play one. And then next turn we can double graveyard stuff. If we run out Seed Ship this turn, we can't reanimate next turn anyway. So I think it makes the most sense to take this turn off, kill something during our opponent's turn, maybe discard the Adamantios, and then next turn we can Dredger's Insight Brood Tender, and then the following turn we have the mana to reanimate with Brood Tender. And this also gives us the upside of this would be the turn they could play Sephiroth, and we definitely need to kill Sephiroth. Well, all right. If our opponent's just going to attack pre-combat, we're just going to kill the Umbral Collar Zealot, which also is kind of a must kill. The sack outlet's really good. Discard the Adamantios. So now we know we at least have something we can reanimate. Found it. Greater Ashen City. Enduring Innocence. Sure. Cool, there's Kona, but we don't have a planet land yet anyway. Well, Dredger's Insight. Do a little mill in. All right. Ooh, and do we take the Planet Land or the Animantios? I think we're going to take the Animantios. We have more Planet Lands than Animantioses. Mill with the Brew Tender. There's all the Animantioses. So now we have, hopefully, Reanimation next turn. Another Umbral Collar Zealot. And opponent just passes. Okay. Ooh, and another Brood Tender. Well, step one. We're going to reanimate I think a Vaultborn Tyrant first. They want to use their land exile it, but that doesn't work. That's only your graveyard. Ooh, and okay. Well, I mean, we just have the reanimation in this game. And it worked out because we milled a lot of Animantioses. Found it. Timeline Collar. Draws when the Enduring Innocence. Plays a land. Oh, do they have that exile removal spell? All right, that's actually pretty big. Eaten Alive. Thankfully, we're back up to 20, so we're not... I mean, opponent's empty-handed. We dropped to 13. Yeah, Kona without a Planet Land is a lot worse. Let's just get back in Animantios. Gain a life. Play the Surveil Land. Ooh. All right. Smuggler's Prize kind of insane here. Sure. Yes, that seems acceptable. Just a land and passes. Man, I wanted Planet Land so badly. The deck, we have 8 Planet Lands, so usually we just always find one. Like, odds are pretty good that we find one. The deck actually is very dependent on them. Like, the games without a Planet Land just feel so much clunkier. All right, opponent just going to take the 8 down to 11. We're going to pass. Instant speed, we can... All right, another Enduring Innocence. Instant speed, we can put the Animantios into play, and I guess maybe Brood Tender? I think they actually want their Timeline Color to be dying so they can get it back. They might need to start... Well, I guess they can do this. This will also trigger their stuff. Greater Ashen City. Enduring Innocence. Make a 1/1. Draw a card. We have a surprise. We have a surprise for you. The Trojan Horse. Going to put definitely the Animantios. And then I think we just go Brood Tender so we can reanimate again. Mill some cards. And opponent pat. Ooh, there's a Planet Land too. Well, now we don't even need the Kona because we've done it the other way. But let's get in. The problem is it's going to take a while to actually kill our opponent here. One thing that the Aristocrats are very good at is blocking forever. That is kind of their gimmick. I'm actually, hilariously, I'm not even sure we're winning this game. We have 2 820s, about to be 3 820s on the battlefield. But I'm still a little nervous that our opponent could just like find a Sephiroth and still kill us. Well, let's sack the Brood Tender. Turtletron. I mean, what else are we doing with our lives? I guess we can play in station first. I guess technically the tightest line. We got to get that value because we can still sack the Brood Tender even when it's tapped. Not that the green Planet Land is even that exciting, but all right, now we will assemble Turtletron. And yeah. Station it up, and I guess we make 1 extra mana next turn. Hooray. I wish it was a black Planet Land, but sure, opponent. Voice of Victory. Yeah, the fact that the turtles don't stop the Sephiroth triggers that's my big concern here. They have not drawn a Sephiroth yet, so they got all 4 in their deck. Eventually, they are going to find... Oh, they just want another... They want another card draw trigger? All right, sacks the Enduring Innocence. Infestation Sage to draw a card. And as well, opponent has drawn kind of a lot of lands. Another Timeline Color. And passes. Lumber in with some turtles. This is all we got going on. So the Infestation Sage is pretty big for our opponent. That lets them easily trigger the Enduring Innocence during our turn. Opponent gonna block, gonna sack. Gonna draw some cards. I feel like Sephiroth might be a real deck. I think Orzhov Aristocrats, with the upgrades that we got and with the rotation happening, I think it might actually be like, I don't know if it'll be like tier 1 because it still is kind of dependent on the graveyard, but I think there's a chance it's like a legit tier 2 deck. It is really awesome how much better Standard has felt since the bannings. Like the Sephiroth deck, I think is one of the biggest examples of what was wrong with Standard before the bannings. It was a deck that's really cool and it's got a ton of pieces, but it just could not work against like the red trample meta. So it's gotten so much better. Opponent, Infestation Sage. Maybe we'll mill him out. Draws a couple cards. And Nesting Bot, sure. And there is the Sephiroth. Are we going to die this turn? I mean, thankfully we're at 15, but this is probably going to be closer than it looks. So they can't deal any damage with their creatures. Well, combat damage with their creatures because of the Adamantioses. However, the turtles do not stop the Sephiroth trade. Opponent sacks, drains us to 13. I don't think they have enough creatures. Like, they can make 2 creatures. If they had one more Blood Artist, I think we'd be dead. If they had a Vengeful Blood Witch, I think we would actually just die. Oh, they're really aggressively sacking here. Oh, are they just flipping? Oh, maybe they're just trying to flip Sephiroth. I guess that means I could play another Sephiroth. Okay, opponent. And going to sack it. So we can do the timeline color combo. So they pay 2, sack, surveil. We take 1. The only good news is our opponent's at lower life than we are. So I don't think they can, and they're going to run out of mana. But eventually it would kill us. Opponent drains us down to 8, goes up to 9. Opponent timeline color. Down to 7. Sacks. Triggers Sephiroth. Yeah, this entity is really powerful. The timeline color Sephiroth loop is a really good way to close out games. I don't know if it's going to quite make it here. All right, with all said and done, we go to 7. No, that's not going to matter, opponent. No, oh, okay, you can attack with that. That's fine. Man, they were friggin' close. So there's no reason to block. Man, did we go to 1 here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. I think our opponent, after all this, is going to end up exactly 1 mana or 1 creature short of killing us. Sack, 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 sack. Sack. Yeah. Drains us. Opponent passes. So our opponent sacks, they go up to 12. They can block 2. Wow, we have Exaxes. Oh my goodness. That was, for a game where we had Turtletron assembled pretty quickly, that ended up being ridiculously close. We almost lost that game. This was exactly enough damage, and I actually think our opponent could have won this game. I think our opponent went too aggro last turn. I think our opponent should have played the Sephiroth. Didn't even block one of them. I think our opponent needed to play that defensively. If they just played out their board, chump blocked our turtles and got some Sephiroth triggers, and then the next turn went with the timeline color loop, I think they would have won. I think they just got a little, maybe they thought it was going to be lethal. It was super close. But we're going to bring in the Ghost Vacuums. We're going to bring in some removals. The Ghost Vacuum shuts down the timeline color, at least. Sadly, does not shut down Sephiroth triggers. Also, we don't know if they're playing, like, Raise the Past. If they're playing Raise the Past, we definitely need the Graveyard Hate. And then we will just trim our graveyard stuff. I think it's realistic to trim literally all the Dredger's Insights and trust that Bitter Triumph Seed Chip Brew Tender is mostly enough to support Zombify. Sometimes I trim, like, a Zombify or 2, but I think that's still, like, kind of enough. We gotta cut 2 more cards here, though. I pretty much never cut any of the top-end stuff. Like, the expensive stuff in Kona always stay. Yeah, I guess we can go 1 Galta. After I said I never cut top-end stuff. Running like that. And we are gonna be on the draw. This hand, we got the Planet Lands. That's what we were missing. What we were missing last game. Well, let's play the Mortuary. Well, keep the Kona. I mean, so we got the full combo of Voice of Victory. The only problem is we got tap lands 4 days. Drawing an untapped land would actually be super helpful. We'll play the planet. Get down the Ghost Vacuum. We're taking, what, 4 now? If they have a Sephiroth here. You know, Vengeful Blood Witch is also pretty good. So we're taking 6. We might just get aggroed. Down to 15. Sack the tokens. Down to 13. I mean, we can kill something. Sadly, it might have to be, oh, there's the Galta. Man, if we can live and do the Kona thing, this Kona thing is going to be absurd. Yeah, okay. We'll discard the Galta. We'll discard it. I mean, just putting the Vaultborns into play should be enough, and I don't think we can afford to take 3 here. We would love to draw an untap land. An untap land would be a game-winning, potentially, draw here. Found it. Blood Witch number 2. Nesting Bot. When they find a sack outlet, it's going to get scary. We really would love to get down a Vaultborn to start gaining life, and they're tapped out. Opponent hits us to 10. All right. I mean, that is just one of the costs of the deck. Like, playing the 8 planet lands. Ooh, all right, there's a sack outlet. Oh, now we're dead, aren't we? They attack with everything. Oh, yeah, we're literally dead. All right, well, yeah, they just sack the board, and that is enough. Tap lands. They sometimes are a problem. I don't know if we really change much of anything, though. Yeah, I think the setup's fine. We just didn't quite have the fast enough draw there. All right, on to game number 3. This time we're going to be on the play, which is a nice benefit. All right, we got a bunch of removal. Got the Ghost Vacuum. We got the Kona and the planet. Hi. All right. I mean, we got enough removal this hand. We're going to mill the Shoot the Sheriff. We do need lands. We need lands and big things we can put into play. All right, another Bitter Triumph. I mean, we have literally all the targeted removal we could ever want. We have more targeted removal than we ever have wanted. Well, there's a Voice of Victory. At least we can kill the Voice of Victory. Targeted removal is like kind of mid in this matchup too. Opponent hits us down to 19. Would have rather drawn a land. Well, let's pay 3. Kill the Voice of Victory. Gonna need to find some Magic the Gathering land cards here shortly. Well, here's the Sephiroth. Let's eat the Voice of Victory. I mean, thankfully we do have infinite Bitter Triumph, so we can kill the Sephiroth. Opponent. Gonna sack the Sage, draw a card, drain us. Okay, there's a land. That is good. The other sad part about this is we're just going to take 3 again. We are killing ourselves with these Bitter Triumphs. Pass the turn. The other thing is, even if we draw land, we don't actually have a bomb to put into play with Kona. I guess we can put the Sheet Chip Brute Tender into play, but that's not really the goal of the deck. Opponent gets in, hits us down to 11. And more Sephiroths. Well, eat the Sephiroth. There is this funny world, which I don't know if it's going to go this way, but if we get up to 6 mana, we might actually just be able to win with the Ghost Vacuum. Like, Ghost Vacuum putting everything into play. We have literally drawn all 4 Bitter Triumphs. Yeah, we have to stop paying 3. We've already taken 6 to Bitter Triumphs. I think we just, as much as it scares me, discard this Deadly Cover-Up. Kind of wanted to have that as a catch-all, but I'm not sure what else we can do here. Missing land drops is making this very, very difficult. Opponent. Land and Sir Vondam. Getting us down to 9. Sure. Well, can we draw a land, please? Can we draw a land? Let's exile Infestation Sage. Hell, there's a land. I mean, I guess we play the Kona. Station the Kona. I mean, we did the thing. Sadly, our only permanent in hand is a Seed Chip Brute Tender, which is not exactly what we were hoping and dreaming for, but it is a body. If we draw another land, it could reanimate something. What a weird draw. We drew literally every Bitter Triumph in our deck. What do you got with your Nesting Bot, opponent? All right, Eaten Alive. Kills a Kona. Triggers Sir Vondam. Oh, this one might be slipping away. I'm not feeling great about where we're at the moment. Opponent combat hits us for 3 down to 6. Ooh, the Volcane enchantment's also bad. That is also bad. Well, eat the Sephiroth. That's more damage coming across. Oh, okay, Mortuary. Untap land on top, please. Untap land. We need this. We're all in on the Ghost Vacuum at the moment. We need the Ghost Vacuum to put all those Sephiroths into play and do like the reverse Aristocrats kill. That's what we're aiming for. An untap land would make it way easier. Gotta mill it. Blooming Marsh. The problem is there are very few untap lands in our deck at this point because the fast lands are all off. There's very few untap lands we can draw. Well, I think we pass. Also unfortunate that we have to take 3 to cast the Bitter Triumph because we have nothing to discard. I mean, I think we survive this turn, but I don't think we can survive the next turn. So we have to draw an untap land, which I think there's like 4 left in the deck or something. But we have to draw an untap land like this turn because of the Delvokian enchantment. So opponent, I'm going to activate the encampment. So I think we just kill the Servandum. Our opponent could sack the Servo to grow it. Yeah, all right. I was hoping this would bait them into sacking the Servo to grow it, so when it died, they could kill something. And then they wouldn't be able to trigger the encampment. Yep, here they come. Opponent gets it. So we go to 1. Block the Servo. Go to 1. Yeah, that Delvokian enchantment was big. That was big. That was big for our opponent. All right. Untap land, Magic Gods. Untap land. Untap land. Untap land. Come on. Come on. Untap land for the Ghost Vacuum. I'll vacuum up the Nesting Bot. We do win, I think, if we hit an untap land here. The odds are not great. Oh, it's another fast land. Ugh. Well, I mean, I'm kind of glad that we lost that way because, like I said, the amount of tap lands is the sketchiest part of this deck. It's necessary to make all the cool stuff work, but that is one of the costs. All right. I mean, we'll keep it. We don't have a Kona or a Zombify. We got the big stuff. We don't have a way to cheat anything into play, but that is kind of what our deck does. So hopefully by the time we get to turn 4, we will have one of those things. We also have the perfect man. We even have an untap land, the rare untap land. Well, let's play an Underground Mortuary. I mean, we don't really need more lands, but the planets are not just lands. They're actual combo pieces in this deck. So we're going to keep the Shashur Shakundi. Opponent appears to be Orzoving, eh? Ooh, there's Zombify. Okay, now all we really need... Yeah, let's play the fast land. All we really need is our opponent to play something. Opponent. Ooh, Ketramos. Okay. I mean, this looks weird because Ketramos is indestructible. But yes, we would like to spend a Bitter Triumph to not kill Ketramos so we can discard this Ghalta. Oh my god, it's another turtle. Zombify Ghalta? Put 2 Ancient Adamantioses into play? Oh, actually, wait a minute. First we need to station our planet. All right, opponent. Can you beat 28 power of turtles and dinosaurs? You shouldn't have played the funny thing is if they didn't play the Ketramos, we couldn't have done this because we didn't have a target for Bitter Triumph. So if our opponent didn't, they kind of did this to themselves. If our opponent just didn't play anything. All right, opponent's going to end the Ghalta, which is only a 2 of anyway. I think actually we're probably going to sack a turtle here. Opponent draws a card, goes to 17. We can hit our opponent to 1. And then, yeah, I mean, we're going to do it. How do you pass up? Draw 8, make 10 tap treasures. How do we pass it up? I know we don't even really need to, but we're going to draw a million cards. No untap lands, which is not, I guess, a surprise with this deck. And opponent shouldn't have played the Ketramos. You shouldn't have played the Ketramos, opponent. You shouldn't have played the Ketramos. Oh, did you hear that? Our opponent gave up. Well, the freebie. Opponent scoops the match. Oh, this deck is so... Oh, man, I love this deck. This is one of my favorite decks I think I've built since Rotation. It's just so fun. It's just, like, so fun. Oh, my God. Well, we can't keep that hand. That hand is way too turtle heavy. This hand seems fine, though. I mean, this hand actually seems kind of good. The question is, what do we put to the bottom? I think we're going to go Kona. As weird as that sounds. And we're just going to go in. It's game 1, so we shouldn't have to worry about graveyard hate most matchups. So I think we just go in on, well, that's a nice draw, on reanimating the Ghalta. All right, I mean, we have turn 4 Ghalta into Adamantios. Let's see what our Druid of the Cowl, okay. Opponent appears to be playing some sort of mono green deck. Well, we are going to discard this Ghalta, bitterly triumph over the Druid, and pass the turn, and opponent, you have to pick it up a little bit because the big stuff. Oh, it's elves. Oh no, it's another Adamantios. Okay, we're fine with this. Opponent land and Druid of the Cowl. Yeah. And Wildborn Preserver. Yeah. And Imperious Perfect. Yeah. There's another Elf Lord. That's an impressive elf board. That's a lot of power. Opponent. I have bad news though. we're going to zombify a Galta, and we're going to just put a couple turtles into play. No big deal. Can you beat 2 ancient adamantioses? Our opponent might not know the answer, but I know the answer, and the answer is no. You almost certainly will not beat 2 ancient adamantios. I mean, the good news for our opponent is we are down to 1 card. If they somehow can deal with this with their mono green elves deck, then we probably aren't going to be able to rebuild. I don't know if that's enough good news for it to really matter here. I guess we'll see. I'm feeling relatively good about where we're at. Wait, is our opponent just going to time out? No, they're there. You can see them hovering. They're actively trying to figure out what they should do. They're not just roping, I don't think. Over. They had the kill. They had the kill. They had the overrun kill, but we got the turtles. I mean, we might as well kill your stuff, I guess. Yeah, kill your board, the turtles live, go to combat, and how about a little turtle beatdown? Our opponent had a good draw, too. They didn't even kill a single turtle with that overrun, though. 20 toughness is so much. Well, bring in the removals. Go down some of the graveyard stuff. Run it like that. No planet land, but we do have a Dredger's Insight, which could find one. If we do, we got Kona into Ancient Adamantios. Otherwise, we got the Brood Tender as a backup plan. Maybe we mill something and can do some reanimating. All right, elves. What do we got, elves? Llanowar elves, sure. Deadly Cover-Up, well, hopefully, yeah, we'll keep the untap land. Plains, or forest. I don't know why my brain said plains. Imperia is perfect. Well, we will do a little dredging. See if we can find a planet land. Wow. Oh my god, those mills. Okay, well, do we even want any of these in our hand? I mean, I guess we have the Kona. Let's take the biggest one. Summon Bahamut. We just milled four absolute bombs. I mean, I guess that's good for the Brood Tender. Would have rather just found a planet land, honestly. Found it. Druid of the Cowl. And, they're going to make an elf. We drew a Zombify, though. That's actually kind of absurd. Let's mill a Galta. That would be fun. Probably not for our opponent, but opponent looking at the graveyard, wondering. I mean, we can just... Yeah, opponent makes an elf. We got to be aware of the overrun. We know they're playing overrun. So, I guess getting down an Adamantios there is value. I'm amazed at how good Adamantios has been. Like, it has been really, really good. There's a lot of decks that really struggle to beat an Adamantios. I'm sure there's also matchups where it's not as good, where opponent has edicts or sweepers or whatever, like control. Probably going to be not as good. Opponent, more Druid of the Cowls, and even more Druid of the Cowls. Tron has been assembled. Well, all right, we will see your Cowl Tron. A turtle. Ancient Adamantios, gain a life. I mean, this way at least we don't die if they overrun. Would really love a planet land. That would be the best. I mean, I guess we could also like just untap land, Wrath the board, which probably wins us the game anyway. Will Leaf Leash. Untap land, Wrath the board, make a bunch of treasures. Winnian's late. Opponent does have a lot of lords, don't they? There's a lot of elf lords in standard. Oh, okay. Well, new plan. That's a planet land. Let's play the Coma. Let's tap it down such a Shundi. And yeah, we're gonna complete. We're gonna complete the stationing. And let's put another turtle into play. Just to have an extra layer of protection here. 2 turtles is better than 1. Opponent Forest. That overrun would have beat a lot of decks. But not an Adamantios. No one expects it either. You don't build your deck like, I gotta be prepared in case someone plays Ancient Adamantios. That's just not something that enters people's heads when they're building a deck. Because no one plays it except for us. But it gets them. Found it. Willie, please. I would prefer not to Deadly Cover Up, but I feel like if we ever do Deadly Cover Up, we probably just win. Man, how do we say no? Let's station Kona. I don't really want to cash into Adamantios. I think what we're going to do, go to our post-combat main phase, put the Summon Bahamut into play, blow up whatever, a Wilt Leaf Leash, I guess. And then we're just going to sack the Summon Bahamut. draw 9, because the planet lands are actually really, really good in the right deck. Draw 9. Oh, 0 Point Valid's so good. That lets us kill the elves without killing our board, which is actually really good. It doesn't do it this turn, but well, let's do some stationing. We're not here to block. We have turtle power. We don't need no stinking blockers. Bound it. Gonna make 1/1. Sure. We will discard a bunch of tap lands to hand size. Actually, we'll keep the Surveil. We'll discard the creature land. All right, opponent. Well, I don't know how you get out of this, but if you're going to do it, you better do it soon, because the 0 Point Valid's coming, and our turtle has 20 toughness. So we can just wrath everything except the turtles, and I don't know how. I don't even know if we need to do this. I think with this game is actually probably on lock. It actually might be smartest just to deadly cover up. We'll get 20 mana worth of treasures. Our opponent's going to have 3 lands. We're going to have 30 mana and 2 live planet lands. All right, there's Overrun. I mean, opponent had a plan. It doesn't work against turtles, but they had a plan. Found it. Yep. You did it. You overran a turtle and gave us 10 treasures. Our opponent has to be so disappointed. Those draws beat pretty much everything. Let's kill a Wiltleaf Leash to shrink the toughness. 0 Point Ballad. I guess we make mana with the green. Actually, okay, station Kona. Go post combat, get and hit you. Well, I guess we could have just attacked with Kona. That might have been smarter. I mean, none of this actually matters, because we're going to put a Vaultborn Tyrant into play, and opponent scoops it up. So what did we learn this week about Planetary Kona combo? And the deck kind of crushed it. We went 5-2 with the deck, which record was great, but more importantly, this deck just did some really, really wild things. We got to see some absurd games with this deck, where we're just cheating massive things into play, sacking it to draw new hands, making tons of treasures. We also got to see Ancient Animasios just be almost unbeatable for some decks. My favorite game with this deck by far was the game against Landfall, where opponent built a 14,000 power Mossborn Hydra, but couldn't win the game because we managed to just keep finding an Ancient Animasios to fizzle their attacks. Eventually, we lived long enough to find like a Summon Bahamut or a Valgaboth, a big flyer, to let us steal the win. It was absolutely ridiculous. So Ancient Animasios was absolutely absurd. It was so good. And it's so funny how some decks are just almost drawing dead to the turtle. And then we just got to see like sacking Vaultborn Tyrant for all the value. We saw Valgaboth and Summon Bahamut. We got to see some absurd Galta things where we like reanimated Galta, dump a bunch of other big things into play. The deck just does the biggest, splashiest things. And as I mentioned in the deck, one of the things I love about this deck is even though we have all this reanimation stuff, we're not really dependent on the graveyard. We get to pressure our opponent in multiple ways. If we were just a straight up reanimation deck, then our opponent can be like, well, okay, we'll just bring in a bunch of graveyard hate. You're not going to do anything. But because we also have the Konas and the Smuggler surprises, it's really hard to hate on this deck. If you hate on the graveyard, we just Kona you. If you bring in a ton of removal to kill Kona, well, then we just graveyard you. So it makes it really, really tough for opponents to fight through this deck. So I actually think this some form of Planetary Kona deck might actually be at least like a second tier deck in Standard. It felt like a pretty powerful deck. As I mentioned before, the one issue with the deck, and I'm not exactly sure how to solve this right now, is just the number of tap lands. And that's because we need the 8 planet lands to make the synergies work. And then if you look at the Gadul lands in Golgari, they're fast lands, which are fine in the early game, but don't come into play on tap on turn 4, which is when we want to play Kona. The Underground Mortuary is just kind of like a necessary evil. The Wastewood Verges come into play on tap, but they're not really dual lands in our deck because we don't have that many forests or swamps. So it's the one place that this deck could be improved is finding a way to get more untapped lands into the deck, because it is super annoying when we have the full setup on turn 4 and we can't do the big thing until turn 5 because we got to play a tap land on turn 4. But otherwise, the deck felt really powerful. It felt really fun. It gets to play a bunch of super cool cards like Ancient Animasios, and I just absolutely love this deck. It's one of my favorite decks that I built since rotation. So anyway, that's Planetary Kona. That's been our deck for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.